The moment everyone missed. What if the one person everyone overlooks turns out to be the one who changes your life forever? Before we begin, if you believe kindness still matters in this world, take 1 second to like this video and subscribe to True Kindness Tales, because stories like this deserve to be heard. The grand opening of the city's most luxurious tech tower looked more like a movie premiere than a business event. Flashing cameras, velvet ropes, shining cars, and people dressed in confidence and expensive perfume. The building belonged to billionaire Rahman, a name known across industries, headlines, and charity boards. Everyone wanted his attention. Everyone wanted a moment near him, except one little girl standing near the marble fountain inside the lobby. She wore a pale yellow dress and held a small notebook against her chest. Her eyes moved constantly, not nervously, but observantly. She watched lips, hands, and expressions. People smiled at her politely and moved on. Some gave awkward nods. Most ignored her completely, because she couldn't hear them. Her name was Layla, Rahman's daughter, and she was deaf. Across the lobby, Daniel stood near the refreshment table with his 6-year-old son, Sammy. Daniel didn't belong in rooms like this. His suit was clean but old. His shoes polished but cracked. He was only there because he worked part-time with the event catering company. When a staff member didn't show up, Daniel took the shift. Extra money meant extra groceries. Sammy held his father's hand tightly. Big places made him shy. "Stay close," Daniel whispered. That's when he noticed her, the girl near the fountain, completely alone in a crowd of hundreds. A group of executives approached her father nearby, laughing loudly. One woman bent toward the girl and spoke slowly and exaggeratedly. Like people sometimes do when they don't understand disability, the girl looked confused. The woman gave up mid-sentence and walked away. Another man tried. He waved awkwardly. The girl smiled politely. He turned away within seconds. Daniel watched this happen 3 times in less than a minute. Sammy tugged his sleeve. "Papa, why is no one talking to her?" Daniel looked down, then back at the girl. He noticed her eyes that alert, intelligent, trying to read every face, because, Daniel said softly, most people don't know how. Years ago, Daniel's wife had been a sign language interpreter at a community center. Daniel had learned alongside her, first out of curiosity, then out of love. After she passed away, he continued practicing so he wouldn't forget that part of her. He hesitated. This wasn't his place. This wasn't his world. But kindness rarely waits for permission. That he walked slowly toward the girl, kneeling to her eye level so she wouldn't feel intimidated. She looked at him cautious, used to disappointment. Daniel gently tapped his chest and signed. "Hello. My name is Daniel." Her eyes widened instantly, shock, then recognition, then joy, pure, bright joy. She signed back quickly. "You know sign language?" Daniel smiled and nodded. For the first time that evening, the girl laughed, silently, but powerfully, shoulders shaking, eyes shining. From across the room, Rahman noticed. He stopped mid-conversation, because for the first time at any public event, his daughter wasn't standing alone. She was talking to a conversation no one heard. Layla signed fast, excited, expressive, alive in a way she hadn't been moments before. "Everyone talks, but no one talks to me," she signed. Daniel understood immediately. He didn't soften it. He didn't pretend otherwise. He simply nodded, respecting her truth. "That happens a lot, doesn't it?" He signed back. She nodded and rolled her eyes dramatically. Daniel laughed. Sammy watched, fascinated. "What are you doing?" Sammy whispered, "That I'm talking." Daniel said gently, then signed to Layla. "This is my son. His name is Sammy." Layla waved at Sammy using sign. Sammy waved back shyly. Within minutes, they were chatting about simple things, favorite colors, favorite foods, favorite cartoons. No one had asked her those questions all night. Everyone else talked about stocks, partnerships, expansion plans. Daniel asked her what she liked to draw. She showed her notebook. It was full of sketches, buildings, birds, faces, emotions, drawn with surprising skill. Daniel signed. "You're very talented." She beamed. Several guests now watched from a distance. Some confused, some curious, a few uncomfortable, as if witnessing something they should have done but didn't. Armin Rahman approached slowly, observing before interrupting. His expression was unreadable, protective but thoughtful. Daniel didn't notice him at first. Layla did. She tapped Daniel's arm and signed. "That's my father. He worries too much." Daniel smiled. "That's his job." Armin spoke gently. "You know sign language?" Daniel stood, slightly embarrassed. "Yes, sir. My daughter seems very happy," Armin said quietly. "She's very easy to talk to," Daniel replied. Armin looked at Layla. She signed quickly to him, explaining the conversation. His face changed, tension melting into gratitude. "You're the first person tonight who spoke with her more than 10 seconds, Armin said. Daniel didn't know how to respond. Truth felt safer than politeness. "People are often afraid of what they don't understand," he said. Armin nodded slowly. "And you're not?" Daniel glanced at Sammy. "No, I've already lost what mattered most once. I don't waste chances to connect anymore." Something in that answer stayed with Armin. Event organizers called Armin to the stage. He was supposed to give the keynote speech. He started walking, then stopped, turned back, and made an unusual decision. "Come with me," he told Daniel and Sammy. Daniel froze. "Sir, I'm just staff." "Tonight," Armin said calmly, "you're a guest." Minutes later, Daniel stood awkwardly near the stage while Armin spoke to the crowd. He talked about innovation, growth, responsibility. Then he changed topic. "Success," Armin said, "is meaningless if the person you love most stands alone in your biggest moments." The room went quiet. He gestured toward Daniel and Layla. "Tonight, a stranger reminded me what inclusion actually looks like." Cameras turned. Whisper spread. Layla held Daniel's hand proudly, like he was the important one. Because to her, he was the gift no one expected. The next morning, Daniel assumed life would return to normal. Early bus rides, job applications, budgeting coins at the grocery store. Instead, he received a phone call, an invitation. Armin Rahman wanted to meet again. Daniel nearly declined, thinking it was charity. He didn't want pity. But he went for Sammy and for closure. At the office, Layla ran to him the moment he entered and signed. "You came back. Most people don't." "I said I would," Daniel signed. Armin watched that exchange carefully. "I reviewed the event footage," Armin said. "Do you know how many trained executives interacted successfully with my daughter?" Daniel shook his head. "Zero." He slid a folder across the table. Inside was a proposal, a funded city program. Free community sign language learning centers, staffed, equipped, and publicly accessible. "I want to build 10 of these," Armin said. "And I want you to lead them." Daniel blinked. "I'm not qualified." "You're exactly qualified," Armin replied. "You show up. You connect. You care. Skills can be certified. Character cannot." Daniel's voice shook. "Why me?" Layla answered before her father could. She signed. "Because you saw me, not my silence." That was it. The purest job description ever given. Months later, the first center opened. Then another. Then another. Parents learned. Teachers learned. Children connected. Barriers fell quietly, conversation by conversation. Daniel became known, not as a hero, but as a bridge. And every opening ceremony had one special guest beside him, a girl in a yellow dress, clapping in sign language. If this story touched your heart, like the video and subscribe to True Kindness Tales, because one small act of kindness can echo louder than 1,000 speeches. And sometimes, the people the world ignores are the ones who change it forever.